It's time for At Home with the RubberDucks, powered by First Energy. 640 WHLO gets you closer to your hometown team with stories of the game and updates from the season ahead.
Line to left center, that's a base hit and a game winner for the Akron RubberDucks.
Akron RubberDucks baseball, affordable family fun.
High drive to right, that's well hit, back, that ball is gone, it's a home run.
Here's your hosts, Marco LaNave and Jim Clark.
Welcome into At Home with the RubberDucks. Marco LaNave joined by Jim Clark. And Jim, we're now less than a week away from Major League Baseball. And, it's a long time coming now.
Keep your fingers crossed for a good 10 days, good 7-8 days.
And we're going to be checking in on that progress, specifically for the Cleveland Indians as they approach their opening day. They'll open Friday, July 24th. At Progressive Field against the Kansas City Royals. We're going to check in during this show with Paul Hoynes, who covers the Indians for Cleveland.com, ask him about a couple of recent RubberDucks and how they might fit into the Indians' plans for 2020 and just what it's like now to cover baseball in 2020 at Progressive Field. And then we're going to take it back in time. Jim, I'm very excited to share with folks your conversation with the man who led the RubberDucks, or the Aeros at the time, I should say, to their first ever championship for Akron.
Brad Komminsk managed the club in 2002 to 2004, had a very good team in 2002. They put it all together in 2003, led by Grady Sizemore, and won the franchise's first ever Eastern League championship.
And we're going to get to hear yourself on a few of those big calls. Was there any that was your favorite?
The Tyler Mingus home run that snapped the tie. He was a great kid. Struggled during the season somewhat, but came up in the playoffs. And boy, he just had one big hit after another. And he was a huge part of that title win.
Well, a happy time to think of at Canal Park. And you also mentioned that it was a packed stadium the night that they won that in 2003.
You know, it was a high school football night. Didn't matter. Almost 9,000. It was electric from the time they introduced the players, and boy, they really fed off of that.
Well, we're excited to dive back into that, back in time, later on in the show when Jim visits with Brad Komminsk. Also, want to remind all of our listeners that you can still get a discount on RubberDucks caps in the RubberDucks online team store. When you go to AkronRubberDucks.com, click on the shop link, use the checkout code radio, and you'll get 20% off of RubberDucks caps. So we're pleased to be joined by Paul Hoynes. He covers the Cleveland Indians for Cleveland.com, the Cleveland Plain Dealer. Paul has been deeply involved now covering what is summer camp, the adapted spring training. So, Paul, from your perspective, this summer camp, how does it compare to spring training and for the team, what they need to get ready? How close is it to what a spring training might be?
Well, it's really different. Spring training, the normal spring training, those guys are out there 6 a.m. They go out in the field at 9:30. Before the games start, they're probably done by 1 p.m., But now, they've gone right into game mode. And, in spring training, they're playing day games mostly. But these are all night games. The workouts are 2-a-day sessions like football. They work out in the morning, one group, then the next group works out in the afternoon. Small pods of players only work out together. Mike Clevenger called them dolphin pods. He was his pod is a dolphin pod, and he just follows everybody around. So that's really different. And of course, the games are inter-squad games. Very different. And, manager Terry Francona, since he took over the club in 2013, he avoided inter-squad games. He doesn't like them. But now they're playing them every day because they have no choice.
Well, the team has adapted, and I'm sure you've had to make some adaptations as well. So how has your work had to be adapted? What's sort of the new normal?
Yeah, the new normal is before spring training 2 started. We did everything on Zoom. We were at home. We weren't traveling. So, I was working from the office, or my home every day. Now we're down at the ballpark, but, we're confined to the press box, no locker room. You can't take the elevator to the press box. We're walking up the ramps. You got to wear a mask, and, you get your temperature taken every day going into the ballpark. And I'm cool with all that. I've got no problem with that. Every interview is done by Zoom, just like we're doing. We talked to Terry Francona before the game on Zoom, and then after the game, the same thing. Francona, and they put 2 or 3 players on, but you have to be out of the ballpark in an hour after the last pitch. So that makes it a little frantic. You're trying to listen to Zoom interviews and while writing, and it gets a little crazy at the end. They've got some people in the press box like the countdown. It's like you got 10 minutes, you got 5 minutes. So it's interesting that way. It's like being on deadline. So you're pulling your hair out to get out of the ballpark and get your story done.
Well, Paul, in your experience covering the team, is there anything that maybe this year or anything that's happened like reminds you of anything in the past, or is this just completely new?
It's definitely completely new. At the beginning, I kind of drew a comparison to the '95 season when they went to the owners went to spring training with replacement players. The regular players were out on strike, and we went through an entire spring training, 6-7 weeks, with butchers and bakers and candlestick makers, trying to play baseball. And then we came back to Cleveland. They were going to open the season with these guys, with the replacement players. They played one game. I think they played the Mets, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember that. They played the Mets replacement guys, and during the game, the strike ended. So, they sent the replacement guys home, and then we had to all go back down to Winter Haven, Florida for another, brief 2-week spring training. And that's kind of the time frame they're looking at right now. So that's the only thing I can compare it to. But, obviously there wasn't a pandemic. People's lives weren't in danger, and it wasn't a worldwide crisis.
Well, I'm sure people are looking at baseball as a way to be uplifted, and they're eager to see, I'm sure, a lot of different things. But for you, what are you most curious to see when the season does begin?
Marco, I'm curious about a couple things. I'm wondering what it's going to be like with no fans in the stands. That's the thing that's really freaking me out. And I'm sure if it gets me, it's got to be like 10 times that for a player. Just to see the empty ballparks. Logan Allen put it in a pretty good way. He goes, in an empty ballpark, he's a left-handed pitcher for the Indians. He goes, every pitch you throw, when it hits the glove, it sounds like you're throwing 100 miles an hour. And anytime anybody makes contact in an empty ballpark, it sounds like you've hit one 500 feet. So that is strange. And they're piping in the music. They've piped in some crowd noise and music, and they've got the walk-up music. It was funny. James Karinchak, his walk-up music is Wild Thing, and the first time he got into a game, he walked 4 guys in the first inning. In his one inning, I'm sitting there, I don't know if he wants that, if that should be changed or not, but he might want to pick a new song. But the second time he came in, they played it again as well. So, but they've got all that stuff, and but it just seems like it's an unnatural setting. It just doesn't feel quite right.
Well, you mentioned James Karinchak. He was wearing a RubberDucks uniform to start 2019. Want to ask you about a couple other guys who did the same, Zach Plesac and Aaron Civale, who then went up to contribute to the Indians last year. What appear to be their roles at this point?
Marco, those guys saved the Indians, as you know, last year. They both did great jobs. The rotation was kind of beat up. Kluber had a broken arm. Carrasco was ill. Clevenger was hurt. So, those guys came up and really pitched above and beyond. And I think they're both got a great shot to be in the rotation this year for that 60-game season. Civale was really, really impressive Sunday night. 6 innings. Francona said he pitched like a veteran. Got right up to about 100 pitches. Plesac pitched last night. Was very good. I think 4 or 5 innings. So I think those guys, right now, I think Civale's probably the number 4, and Plesac and Plutko are probably right, going back and forth for the 5th spot.
That was Paul Hoynes of Cleveland.com, and he was talking about former Rubber Duck Aaron Civale. Civale talked to the Cleveland media last week about how he spent his time during the hiatus between spring training and summer camp.
I stayed out in Arizona just because weather and combination of what New England was with as far as the coronavirus went. So I stayed out there, stayed with Phil for a couple of weeks, and then stayed in North Phoenix. Was able to get into the Arizona facility in early May. So since May, I think May 19th was my first 5-inning outing. So just kind of been going since then, but didn't really stray too far. Had a good setup there and made the most of it.
That was Indians pitcher Aaron Civale, and this portion of At Home with the Rubber Ducks was brought to you in part by Ambridge Hospitality, Fairfield Inn and Suites, and the Courtyard by Marriott Akron Fairlawn, all partners presenting Rubber Ducks baseball. Next up, we'll have more with Cleveland.com's Paul Hoynes talking about Indians summer camp at Progressive Field.
You're listening to At Home with the Rubber Ducks on 640 WHLO, your new home for Akron Rubber Ducks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Here at Sarah Auto Park, community service has always been a priority of ours. These days, that spirit is more important than ever. Join us as we do everything we can to take care of our doctors, nurses, all other essential businesses, and their employees. If our community needs us for anything, even to safely get a bag of groceries to our most vulnerable, we're here. We'll get through this together. Sarah Auto Park.
This is Rubber Ducks broadcaster Marco LaNave. When people ask me who's the #1 pick for print and copy solutions in the Akron area, I tell them Meritech, the pride of the Rubber Ducks for the past 9 years. Meritech's roster also includes IT consulting, cloud voice and data services for a powerhouse lineup to reduce risk, control costs, and increase productivity. So call Team Meritech today and tell them the Rubber Ducks sent you. Meritech Technology to empower your business.
Exceptional care means having access to world-class physicians and services. That's the care Cleveland Clinic Akron General provides to Akron and the surrounding communities. Whether it's primary care or specialized services, we put your needs first with care that is comprehensive and, best of all, close to home. Cleveland Clinic Akron General is committed to the community and your health. To learn more about our services close to you, visit akrongeneral.org.
KeyBank makes it easy to manage your money anytime, anywhere.
I am crushed for time.
KeyBank can help.
How? And how soon?
You have a smartphone?
I have to. It keeps me organized.
Download the KeyBank mobile app and then use your phone to deposit checks on the go, transfer money, even pay bills automatically.
Awesome.
Indeed. Learn how you can make even more financial progress when you use the Red Key, only at KeyBank. Visit key.com or your local branch. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for a great apartment with the best location? Fir Hill Towers Apartments is just a 5-minute walk to the University of Akron or a 5-minute drive downtown. You'll find spacious living, convenience, and fun with a wide variety of restaurants and entertainment just outside your door. Perfectly suited for young professionals and students on the go looking for off-campus living. Stop by 55 First Street Hill, Akron, or call 330-762-7000. That's 330-762-7000 today and reserve your apartment home.
For a lawn that looks as good as Canal Park, depend on Grassmaster. They're a locally owned and operated full-service lawn and landscape company. The development of a healthy and attractive lawn or landscape requires a great deal of time and hard work. It's Grassmaster's commitment to providing the necessary ingredients of knowledge and treatment materials to develop a healthy and attractive lawn or landscape. By choosing Grassmaster as your lawn and landscape company, you are assuring that your investment is protected and will grow in value year after year. Visit thegrassmaster.com.
Everyone at Honda wants you to be safe. And right now, you need a car you can count on and your dealer to go the extra mile. So if your Honda needs parts or service, we're right here ready to help. Working to follow all government guidelines in order to get you what you need and help you stay safe with a reliable car that's ready to go when you need it.
Visit NorthernOhioHondaDealers.com.
Your business has a story to tell. Let Fast Signs Medina help you using the right mix of visual communication solutions like signs, banners, digital displays, fleet graphics, mobile marketing, health and safety communications, and so much more. Give Fast Signs Medina your business challenge and we'll come up with a plan to grow your business, reach more customers, and accomplish more than you ever thought possible. Fast Signs Medina. More than fast, more than signs, more than ready to help you grow your business. Call today and say Go Ducks for your discount.
This is At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO.
Deep drive out to right field. Rafaela turning, watching. It's gone to the Bud Light line. Tiki Terrace.
Your new home for RubberDucks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Welcome back. This is Marco LaNave, and this portion of At Home with the RubberDucks is brought to you in part by Precious Cargo Trailways and Stofers, both part of our lineup presenting RubberDucks baseball. One recent RubberDuck who could be approaching his major league debut with the Cleveland Indians and possibly without any fans in the stands is Daniel Johnson, an outfielder for the RubberDucks in 2019. He spoke to the Cleveland media last week about what it's like to train at summer camp without any fans in the stands at the games.
I just try not to think about it too much, even with fans, I try to tend to lock in a little bit during game time. Obviously it's a different dynamic, different environment now with nobody in the stands. So, just trying to figure out small ways, I like to sing some songs in the outfield, just keep myself busy because I can't live anybody. I can't people watch anybody when I go between pitches. So I just kind of listening to music, trying to talk to people, talk to Greg in the outfield. It's anything to keep myself occupied, keep that rhythm,
That was Indians outfielder and recent RubberDuck Daniel Johnson, and I asked about him in my conversation with Paul Hoynes of Cleveland.com, a piece where there's quite a bit of depth and some crowded positions there in the outfield. Daniel Johnson, who was playing with the RubberDucks and with AAA Columbus part of last year, he was around big league spring training and, of course, around this summer camp as well. How might he fit in?
They've got 10 outfielders on a 40-man roster, so I don't know how anybody is fitting in there. But right now, Delino DeShields is on the DL, and Jordan Luplow has a bad back. So those guys are kind of questionable for the opener. So that kind of opens the door, I think, for a guy like Daniel Johnson or maybe Bradley Zimmer, guys that, kind of were on the bubble coming into this spring training too. Daniel Johnson, I think the first or second game, inter-squad game, hit a 3-run homer to win the game. He was named the player of the game. Francona gave him a $100 bill. That's what they do to the MVP, every game. And but he left the $100 bill in his uniform pants, and they got washed the night before. So I don't know what happened to the $100 bill. So, but he's been doing great. He's really a fun guy to watch. He can run. He's got some power. He can play the corners. Had a really good year last year between, Akron and Columbus. I think if this was an ideal situation, he'd probably open the season in Columbus this year, but there's no minor league season. So, I think he's got a chance to maybe help the Indians during this 60-game stretch. I don't know if he'll be on the opening day roster, but he's got a chance because the roster is expanded from 26 to 30 for the first 2 weeks of the season.
That expansion of the roster, does that make it easier, do you think, of making the calls at the end of summer camp here as to putting guys on the roster compared to what they might have decided back in late March?
Yeah, I do. I think it does. It gives them some leeway. Now, Francona always likes extra pitchers. So, I don't know if they'll open with a 20-man bullpen and 10 position players. I mean, Tito he's already said he'd like to carry 15 pitchers. So, that cuts down the position players to 15. But I think you can pick and choose. You might be able to carry, an extra outfielder or two, or maybe a utility guy. Mike Freeman is a guy that can kind of play all over. So it's going to be interesting to see, how they cut that down to 30. And then 2 weeks into the season, it goes down to 28. And 4 weeks in, it goes back to 26.
So in all of this newly constructed 2020 season, Paul, do the Indians have an advantage that they can capitalize on relative to the rest of the league?
Marco, I think that one of their advantages is the starting rotation. And I say that because about a month and a half before spring training 2 opened, well, I should say probably at the end of April, they had a meeting with their pitching staff, and I think the whole team, the position players as well, and said, we can't just train in a void here, because that doesn't do anybody any good. We've got to kind of have a date to train for. Even if spring training doesn't open on that date, that's our report date. And so they did that. And I remember Chris Antonetti, the Indians president of baseball operations, said when he announced that camp was opening July 1st, and I think workouts begin July 3rd, he goes, that's not going to be our first day of workouts. It's going to be our 27th day of workouts, because we've already been training, that way. At least in our players have done a great job with that. The coaches have stayed in touch with them. So I think that's an advantage. I do. I think to have, 4 or 5 starters ready to go to 5, 6, 7 innings maybe on opening day, that's got to help. And I was thinking just the reverse of that. I thought their edge or their advantage would be kind of blunted because the starters would only be able to go 3 innings, and you'd have to piggyback with these guys until you get to, halfway through the season, and then your advantage is gone. But this way, that starting pitching advantage still may work for them and help them get off to a quick start.
Well, Paul, I want to ask for your sort of expertise and perspective. One of the things that's been publicly discussed this month has been the Indians' statement from earlier this month about engaging the community regarding their team name and how to move forward. What did you interpret from that statement and from what people in the organization have said since then?
Yeah, it's been interesting. Well, I obviously think they're going to change the name, Marco. The name is up. I think I don't think it was a topic of discussion before the George Floyd incident, before the national unrest throughout the country. But as that kept going and the protests kept going, I think the Indians, really made a commitment to being at the forefront of some social change, of being not just a baseball organization, but being an organization that tries to take the community they play in better, to improve that. And I think they think by changing their name or discussing that and with various stakeholders throughout the community, the fans, Native Americans, if that's a way to do that, to changing the name is a step forward in the direction they want to take, that's what they'll do, I think. I think it's in motion. I don't know when it'll take place. It's not going to take place this year, maybe not even next year. But, in the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to have a different name. I would imagine the Indians are going to rename their franchise.
Well, that's quite some interesting perspective, Paul, and we really appreciate your insights on, what a unique summer this is going to be. And I think for a lot of people I know, just seeing baseball and hopefully completing a baseball season will be very uplifting.
Yeah, let's hope they get it in, because it's still touch and go. I don't know if you flip a coin right now, but the way the Indians have handled this, I think it looks positive. I hope the other teams have done their homework and their players can stay healthy and they can get 60 games in, and we'll see what happens.
That was Paul Hoynes of Cleveland.com, and this portion of At Home with the RubberDucks was brought to you in part by Johnny Lote's Latin Street Corn and the Akron Zoo, both on the team of partners presenting RubberDucks baseball. Coming up after the break, Jim Clark visits with former Akron Aeros manager Brad Komminsk, who led the Aeros to the 2003 Eastern League Championship and the first title for the franchise in Northeast Ohio. Stay tuned for that after the break.
You're listening to At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO, your new home for Akron RubberDucks baseball, powered by First Energy. This is At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO.
Here's the relay. The throw home will not be made. That's an inside the park home run.
Your new home for RubberDucks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Welcome back. This is Jim Clark, and this portion of At Home with the RubberDucks is brought to you in part by Suma Health and the Gardner Pie Company, both presenting RubberDucks baseball. Today we have the treat of talking with the first manager to win a championship at Akron, Brad Komminsk. And Brad, thanks for taking the time today.
Jimmy, great to hear from you. It's been a long time. Love my time in Akron, no doubt about it. What a great place.
We loved having you there. Let's go back now, Brad. Your first skipper job came in Columbus in '99 with the Indians.
Right.
And then Kinston 2000, Aeros 2002, and the 2003 season was such a treat for us. I've looked back on the scorebook many times. I still got that book, and I have it in front of me right now. And the lineup with that team from beginning to end stayed pretty consistent. And one guy I like to look at a lot was Hector Luna. We got him in that deal, but he came back from the Rule 5 from Tampa. We were in Erie, 31 degrees to start the year, and here's Luna. He's almost a big leaguer, from the big leagues to Double-A in freezing temperatures. And he had a slow start.
He wasn't very good early. And a lot of that was coming back from the big leagues too. He thought he was going to make the big league team, I'm sure, that Rule 5, and then he came back and. It's definitely an adjustment. He got a little attitude going, and not that he was bad. It wasn't a bad attitude, but he just, I think mentally himself was just, wondering what happened. So he did start off slow, but he was obviously a solid player for us. Once he got going, he got going. He could do it all. Man, he had great range. He could throw. He could run. He could hit. He did it all. And we had a lot of great little middle infielders there. Johnny Peralta before him, Hector Luna, Ivan Ochoa.
Joe England.
England was there. I mean, we had all kinds of good players there that were fun to watch. Man, there was a lot of competition at middle infield, and Hector was right up there at the top of it.
He starts the year hitting 205 in April. Ends up batting 297 for the year, but he was only hitting 216 in May, so he probably hit about 330 about the last half of the season.
I bet he did easy. I mean, he was one of our bats. I mean, he got it going, and I mean, he was fun. Once he got going, it was fun to watch. And early when they start off slow, I mean, coming out of Florida, coming wherever, if you've ever played up in Ohio in the wintertime, I mean, April, it can be the wintertime in Akron. You got that cold coming, even though the lake's a ways away. It still can be pretty chilly, and that whole league up in the north, I mean, it can be a cold league, and it seems like you either start off really hot or you're cold. And he was cold, but once the warm weather started coming around, he really started taking off, and as so many guys do, it's definitely adjustment for some of the kids, especially kids from down south. A lot of the Latin American kids haven't had to play in that weather before, and it's an adjustment. I remember Johnny Peralta was the same way the year before. He started off really slow and heated up the same way Hector did, So I think Victor Martinez even started off slow. Of all people, the guy that unbelievable offensive numbers his whole lifetime. And I even think Victor started off slow. And once they get going, once that warm weather hits, it seems like just something clicks. And a lot of the Latin ball players just really, really take off. And it's fun to watch. You wonder for 2 months, man, I'm hearing all these reports and they're not coming across right. And then all of a sudden, boom, like the switch hits. And I'm like, yeah, this is good, man. This is fun to watch.
Now your team's 11-11 after April. Then you really catch fire in May. You go 23-10. And then really from that point, you're in first place almost the entire time. You guys win 88 games. And, what a treat to watch. Everyone knows about Sizemore, who had a great year. But then there's Corey Smith and Luis Gonzalez and Church, Crozier, England, Valencia. As far as position players, you were solid all around the diamond.
That was a pretty good lineup. Yeah, that's pretty good all the way around, And obviously, some of those guys had really, really good years. Actually great years, and it was just fun to watch. I mean, any given day, if someone failed, someone else, a different guy picked up the lineup the next day. So. We were dangerous. We probably weren't a lot of fun to pitch to with that lineup day in and day out with so many guys being able to do so many different things. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, Gonzalez, he turned into be a pretty good big leaguer, and I don't think a lot of people gave him credit, but that kid, he could hit, and he was unbelievable. He was, probably one of the best hitters, probably right-handed hitters, I should say. Victor was probably the best all around, but he was probably the best right-handed hitter that maybe I've had all my years with the Indians. Just day in and day out, he could do it. When he stayed healthy, he was some kind of fun to watch.
Now, watching Sizemore, did you know he was special right away?
Yeah, he was really the catalyst of the whole team. The way he played hard every pitch. If he hit a ground ball to pitcher, he almost beat it out every time. And he always played 100%. And I think that everybody else kind of fed off that and realized what we should be doing, and it made a difference, But, if you look at the team the year before, that we even had maybe a better team. We won 93 games, maybe a better pitching staff for sure. But we were missing that one little piece, Grady, I think, was it that set the tone for the whole team, and everybody fed off, and that's what made us a winning team, I think. It took everybody up to the next level. For expectations, that was it.
Your pitching staff, Crucetta wins 13 games, Derek Van Dusen wins 10, Kyle Evans 9, Cabrera 9, Betancourt, before he goes, 16 saves. He was unhittable when he was with us.
When he was unhittable, it was amazing what he, and I think he was just so-so before he got to us, but whatever happened, I'm going to say I did it, which is about as far from the truth as possible. But, if you got him the ball late in the game was over. And we like to get him the ball, and he was, of all those guys, like you said, that staff we had, oh my God, that's some pretty good guys. A mix, a little flipping lefty, power righties, we had it all, closer. Anybody would have loved to have that staff,
When you get to the postseason, you take care of Altoona in 4 games in New Haven, the final games in that ballpark, which was, I kind of like going there because it was kind of an old throwback almost of a very mini Cleveland Stadium.
Right, it was an old throwback. Yeah, it was almost like a mini. It was like a mini back in the day. So, it was just so exciting. And the guys were so excited, obviously. I was excited for them. Excited for us too, but excited for the players. That that's what you work for from day one of spring training. You want to go out and win and have the opportunity to put yourself in a position to do it and then actually do it. It's just, a sigh of relief, but it's so exciting to see all your hard work come together and get something positive out of it. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You talk about guys picking you up when someone doesn't at times. You guys in game 1, you scored first in every game of that championship series, but I can remember Brian Luderer gets a 2-run single in the 8th inning. It's a 5-3 game, and he puts it out of reach. He gets a hit, makes it 7-3. You got Crucetta, Cabrera finishes up, and Tadano pitched well. But Luderer comes in and has a big hit.
Yeah, you get it, lose. He was solid for us all year, but, he was more of the backup, but he came in and, he played a big part in it. Just everybody had a little piece of the puzzle that guys you wouldn't expect, boom, they'd come out and do that, and lose. I still keep in touch with them a little bit, yeah, it was just a great team effort. It was definitely a team effort. Everybody contributed and played a part in that season. You mentioned Tadano too. Tadano kept getting him. With that, he was unhittable there for a long time too. With that slider he flipped up there. He was just. It felt like every time he knew it was coming, it was like Mariano Rivera throwing that cutter. He knew it was coming, and the guys couldn't hit it. It was so nasty. So. And he, being a guy from Japan that didn't speak any English, he fit right into the group, and everybody took him under his wing and loved having him there too. It was just a great, I don't know, just everybody melted together, and we had all kinds of different people there, white, black, Japanese, Spanish, and we had a mix, and everybody got along so good. It was so fun and refreshing to watch them go about their business and pull for each other every day. It was amazing.
Well, you get to game 2, and the guys to step up in game 2, tons of doubles in that game. But here's Valencia. Victor a homer, a double. You get doubles from Corey Smith, Luke Scott, who joined us late,
right,
and Gonzalez, Luna. Denny wins it, and you're up 9-7 coming home with 1 to go to win the whole thing.
that feels pretty good being up with that group. But yeah. I mean, Corey Smith played good for us all year long. I mean, solid. He was fun to watch. And Valencia, I mean, he was, just a 6-year free agent sign, and he had some tremendous power. He had some big home runs for us all year long, and he was always extremely dangerous at the bat, and he wanted to be out there and had a little veteran leadership a little bit that helped out too, I think.
That was Brad Komminsk, and this portion of At Home with the RubberDucks is brought to you in part by Planet Fitness and Golden Crisp Potato Chips, both partners presenting RubberDucks baseball. More with Brad Komminsk right after this.
You're listening to At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO, your new home for Akron RubberDucks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Are you looking for a great apartment with the best location? Fir Hill Towers Apartments is just a 5-minute walk to the University of Akron or a 5-minute drive downtown. You'll find spacious living, convenience, and fun with a wide variety of restaurants and entertainment just outside your door. Perfectly suited for young professionals and students on the go looking for off-campus living. Stop by 55 First Street Hill, Akron, or call 330-762-7000. That's 330-762-7000 today and reserve your apartment home.
There aren't many things in life that are easy. There's easy listening music, easy chairs, easy money. But did you know that you can enjoy all three while getting rid of your old energy-wasting refrigerator? You can schedule a pickup without moving from your easy chair. We'll haul it away and even pay you for it. So go ahead, take it easy, and let us take it from here. First Energy's Ohio Utilities will pick up your fridge, and you'll get $50. Just visit EnergySaveOhio.com to schedule a pickup. Now that's easy.
What's better than a good steak? A great steak at a great value in a fun place. Texas Roadhouse. From fall-off-the-bone ribs to made-from-scratch sides, we've got something for everybody. Great steak at a great value. Texas Roadhouse. Located at 4310 Lake Point Corporate Drive in Stowe. And now offering drive-through, carry-out, and curbside service. Visit TexasRoadhouse.alohaorderonline.com or call 330-920-9844.
Bridgestone Drive Guard tires deliver a clutch performance that won't leave you stranded on the side of a rural road or a busy highway. They're engineered to take a puncture and to keep running up to 50 miles after a flat at 50 miles an hour. Plus, you'll get the smooth, quiet ride and impressive treadwear life you've come to expect from Bridgestone tires. Let the clutch performance of Bridgestone Drive Guard tires give you peace of mind. Bridgestone, proud sponsor of the Akron RubberDucks.
Here at Sarah Auto Park, community service has always been a priority of ours. These days, that spirit is more important than ever. Join us as we do everything we can to take care of our doctors, nurses, all other essential businesses, and their employees. If our community needs us for anything, even to safely get a bag of groceries to our most vulnerable, we're here. We'll get through this together. Sarah Auto Park.
No savvy traveler likes long lines or waiting around. So, lucky for you, the Akron-Canton Airport is easy and fast. With affordable on-site parking, quick check-in, and short security lines, you'll be through the airport in just minutes. CAK gives you more freedom to enjoy the things you love, like vacationing. With low fares to 11 nonstop destinations and just one stop to the world, book your next adventure from CAK.
RubberDucks fans, check out City Barbecue in Fairlawn for the best barbecue in town.
I gotta tell you, City Barbecue is the best smoked meats I've ever experienced in my life.
Literally the best beef brisket sandwich I've ever had.
Definitely the best barbecue I've ever had.
My best all-around barbecue experience ever.
Best barbecue around.
Some of the best barbecue I've personally tasted.
I highly recommend this spot for some of the best BBQ you'll ever have.
Visit citybarbecue.com or stop by 2870 West Market Street in Fairlawn.
Everyone at Honda wants you to be safe. And right now, you need a car you can count on and your dealer to go the extra mile. So if your Honda needs parts or service, we're right here ready to help. Working to follow all government guidelines in order to get you what you need and help you stay safe with a reliable car that's ready to go when you need it.
Visit NorthernOhioHondaDealers.com.
This is At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO.
Deep drive out to right field. Rafaela turning, watching. It's gone to the Bud Light line. Tiki Terrace.
Your new home for RubberDucks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Welcome back. This is Jim Clark, and this portion of At Home with the RubberDucks is brought to you in part by Visit Jacksonville and 5 Star Meats, both presenting RubberDucks baseball. Now more with Brad Komminsk.
You get back home for the third game, and what I can remember so vividly is we almost had 9,000 people legitimately in the stands for that first game at home, which ended up being the final game, but almost 9,000. That was something to see for minor league baseball in the playoffs.
Yeah, we packed them in. We did. Yeah, I mean, we always drew good there, but yeah, to have that many people, I mean, the town was definitely a buzz, with Aeros. I mean, it was I think everybody was ready for it. I knew this was the team, and they came out and showed their support, and it was just, it was. What an atmosphere. Most playoff games in the minor leagues, I mean, it's football season in Ohio. You know what that means? That means there ain't nobody coming to baseball. And they packed the place, and it was the players loved it. I mean, it's so much more fun to play in front of, that type of crowd as opposed to, 800 people. So, we kind of fed off that, and I guess it's more destiny than anything. The guys just came out, enjoyed it, and played, and that was that.
And as he did so many times, right off the bat, the first inning, they get the initial out. There's a drive to center, and Sizemore, a diving catch in the first inning, as he did so many times that season.
And stepping in now is Dominic Rich. Had a good series, 5 for 8, 3 hits on Wednesday. He's been pesky every at bat. Good little contact hitter, left-hand batter, 10 for 25 in the postseason at 400. Smith on the infield grass. There's a looper, left center, coming on Sizemore. He lunges and makes the catch. Now Grady Sizemore lunges in left center and puts it away for out number 2. So that's where he has slapped the ball the entire series the other way. And Grady timed the lunge perfectly, and there are 2 outs.
Yeah, he laid out. He put it all on the line every single at bat, pitch, whatever he's doing, it was he laid it all out there every day. And yeah, I mean, he was just unbelievable athlete and player and fun to coach. I just tried to keep out of his way and let him do his thing, not screw the kid up. So I'm just let him do his thing, and it worked because he had a hell of a career. He was a great kid.
We played long ball in that game. Luna gives us the lead, and then one of the unlikely guys who was the MVP, Tyler Mingus, a big 2-run homer, and we were off and running.
Boy, Tyler another, hitting .480 coming in tonight. He's 14 for 28, 500 batting average in the postseason. And trying to again here give Akron the lead. Here's the 1-0. There's a high drive, left field. Back goes Sanders. That ball is going. It is gone. It's a 3-run home run for Tyler Mingus. And Akron leads it 5-2.
Yeah, I mean, Mingus, he had a way with big games. He stepped up all the time. He was obviously he's a great outfielder, for one, that people don't really realize, but he was a great outfielder. He could run them down. Obviously had a way above average throwing arm. He'd throw guys out, and he had pop. He went on after us, and played pretty good, I think, for the Cardinals, got up to AAA and had a good year. Probably should have been in the big leagues, but never worked out for him. But he's the one guy that probably should have got a little bit of time and didn't. But Mingus found a way to step up in big games. He could, for whatever reason, he did it his whole, even when I had him back in the South Atlantic League, when we needed someone to step up, he was always somehow in the middle of it, somehow, some way. He was in the middle of something big every time.
Also in that series, we get the injury to Joe Inglet in the Altoona series, and here comes Greg LaRocca. And I remember...
I forgot about the Rock. I forgot about him. You're right.
They were not happy with that.
Yeah.
Bringing in from pretty much, AAA or the majors?
He came from AAA. I think probably both, yeah. But I think he came in from AAA that year, or from then. But yeah, it's what a good little fit to get him in, and he brought some bat with him and some good solid defense, and a little veteran leadership. We'll maybe calm the young kids down a little bit. Yeah, what a great little a great addition there.
We played long ball in that game. After Mingus homers, Gonzalez, the next hitter, he homers.
Luis Gonzalez stands in. Reimers is a right-hander. Wind up, and the pitch to Luis. There's a high drive left field, way back, going going. It is gone. It's a home run for Luis Gonzalez, and it's 6-2. Back-to-back home runs on the first pitch offered by Reavers.
LaRocca homers, the lead's big, and to close it out, which I thought was so fitting, in his last at-bat that season in the 8th inning, Sizemore homers.
3-1. There's a drive to right of the alley. That ball is going. That ball is gone. It's a home run for Grady Sizemore. And it's 11-4. It's fitting that Grady Sizemore's last at bat in an Akron uniform is a home run.
That was the icing on the cake right there. He was the guy to finish it all off, and rightfully so. I mean, he was such a big part of the team, and he was the impact guy. He was a difference maker, definitely, and to have him finish it off, that was just, like I said, it was icing on the cake.
And the pitching to close it out, you get Tadano and Cabrera, who don't give up a hit the last 4 innings. Cabrera, no matter where Cabrera was for you as a starter or reliever, he was always locked in.
He was always locked in. He had a great year, yeah. He obviously very talented individual, good arm, good. I mean, just he looked the part, and he was the part. He was fun to watch. And those guys right at the end, I mean, just. Like you said, they're virtually unhittable, They just, when you get those guys the ball, the game's over. And I mean, as a pitcher or as a manager, to have guys like that knowing that, you have so much confidence in, God, so much easier to manage. I tell you that, when you got that guy that just, or those guys that can close it down like that, God, it just gives you a sigh of relief and lets you relax a little bit. If you can relax a little bit, it definitely gives you a little bit of sense you can take it easy and know those guys are going to do the job for you.
And I think for me, it's so much fun to win something like that and to win it on a swinging strikeout for the last out.
It's the way to go. Yep. You know what? To win it anyway, you got to have Sizemore diving or whatever the case, just to win it. But a swing and a miss is always that's probably the way to go. And just so everybody's right there, and boom, the party's on, and it was fun.
Fernando Cabrera ready again. Here's the windup. The 1-2 struck him out, and the ball game is over. The Akron Aeros win the 2003 Eastern League Championship as they mob Fernando on the field. The Akron Aeros have done it. Their first ever Eastern League Championship, and almost 9,000 watch it tonight at Canal Park.
Thanks to Brad Komminsk and to Cleveland.com's Paul Hoynes, who joined Marco LaNave earlier in today's show. We're back next Sunday at 6 for another episode of At Home with the RubberDucks. For Marco LaNave, I'm Jim Clark. So long, everybody.
Thanks for listening to At Home with the RubberDucks. To listen to previous shows or for more RubberDucks baseball, follow the Akron RubberDucks podcast on the iHeartRadio app. For the latest on the team, go to AkronRubberDucks.com and follow the Akron RubberDucks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Akron RubberDucks Baseball. Affordable family fun.